Welcome back to another tutorial from PH Studios. This tutorial is going to cover using as, which is next up on the list. And then we'll also cover what using is included in this little quick tutorial. It's not going to be a long tutorial. I'm going to use a previously created code and just discuss what it's doing and go from there. So that's the agenda for this tutorial, using as and then using is. And then we'll go on to a menu system and discuss screens and go on from there. So what I'm using for the tutorial is the space shooter sample. And I'm just going to use a full tutorial. I'm going to get the solution. It's XNA 3.0 and C# 2008. Extract files. And there it is. And we want to go to the tutorial and get the solution. And let's look inside here. What we are interested in is the bullet class, and you see we use source is player. That just says if the source of the bullet is a player object, it's not an enemy object, it's a player object. So this is a boolean. If it is, we get a different vector than if it's not. Now if we go to the player, and I think we have as somewhere in here, gameplay object. Okay, it was in the play screen in the spawn enemy. And we create a null player object. And for each gameplay object in the current gameplay objects, it's the current objects on the screen that is happening. And if it is a player, we set it GO as a player, and that just is an advanced way to casting. It converts the gameplay object to a player object and stores it in P. And it's just think of it as an advanced way to casting. You'll get all the properties that player has where you wouldn't have if it's still in an instance of gameplay object. So it just converts it to a player. So that's the difference between as and is, and you will sometimes see that in a lot of coding. And you'll see it in my samples as you get more in depth. And you should use it if you have lots of things that are derived from another. Gameplay object is the parent. So the player, ship, enemy, and bullet are all derivative of gameplay object. So if you want to test individual instances or derivatives of that, you use as. So if gameplay object GO is a bullet, then you just say GO as bullet and store it in a different variable. Then you'll have access to the source and the find position and find velocity and all the stuff that makes a bullet a bullet. The bullet texture and collision, stuff like that. Stuff where you couldn't get access to if you just left it as a gameplay object. So this is a very quick tutorial, just discuss what is the difference between as and is. And just for the sake of the tutorial, in is just for the for each. It's looping through all gameplay objects in this current list. And assigning it a object. So every time we loop, GO changes with the new gameplay object in the current game objects list. And by the way, if you're working on a short, small sample game or something, and you know that things will never change, you will want to use an array. However, if you want to distribute that sample, or if you want to enhance it later on, have multiple enemies coming from different directions or something, you might want to use a list instead. That way it's dynamic. You just do GameObjects.add and then a new game object. Just like the screen manager, it adds a new screen to the list, and you don't have to worry about the array size or anything. So that's it for this tutorial. Next tutorial we'll discuss the menu screen, and then we'll go on and do some more advanced stuff, and hopefully finish this series by the end of the week. So I hope to see you guys next time.